Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Your buddy. This important public message has been brought to you by Inc. The Original, theoriginal.com. Welcome to the Roth Show.
John Muir High School was right out of Cooley High. It was up the down staircase. Pasadena High School, that was Jeff Spicoli and Ridgemont High. It was two very different kind of voter blocks. And yes, there was a collision early between the Van Halen brothers and myself. I always dress like this. In fact, this jacket is from 4th grade. I wore this to my bar mitzvah. No, well, not this jacket, but these glasses. And the Van Halens always had their hands in their pockets, and like you would do like this, and we parted our hair. Ultimately, I joined that crew as well. And you part your hair in the middle, and it hangs down like this, and it's, and you got to get your shoulders up like, dude, bro, what's up, man? Hey, Tom, man, what's up? It's like Slater in that movie, with the hat, the peach basket hat. And he goes, bro, man, you got anything to smoke, bro? You want to go have a cigarette? Come on, man, let's go outside. And you get out there and 3 people smoke a cigarette, man. Whoa. That's Cindy Paloma, man. She's fucking hot, bro. Don't hotbox that thing. For me, from 7th grade on, it was the roll. See, you don't actually go anywhere after a while. You occupy your space, baby, like you have an inner soundtrack like that. And for the first 3 years of junior high school, my inner soundtrack sounded like somewhere between like Mission Impossible and Shaft. It still kind of is. But I felt totally comfortable going to see Deep Purple out at the Swing Auditorium with Eddie Van Halen, which was the amps extended, I think, from San Bernardino to Santa Monica. That was the amp wall. We, of course, mimicked that later on in our career. And there was a great balance. My sister comes to me and she says, Dave, it's 1976. I mean, she has to remind me occasionally. She says, Earth, Wind, and Fire has the best show ever. You got to see it at the Forum. I just saw it at the Forum. It doesn't occur to me that this is an entirely different voter block in 1976. And I turned to Eddie at some point and I said, come on, let's get some tickets. We'll go out to the Forum. We're going to go see Earth, Wind, and Fire. He doesn't really know what Earth, Wind, and Fire is about. He's very, very much steeped in Eric Clapton, hard rock guitar. And much prefers it when it comes to listening to it. So I don't know that Ed really knew what Earth, Wind, and Fire really was about, what I said. In fact, if you think about it, it sounds like a Billy Cobham record. It sounds like it could be Mahavishnu Orchestra or a Jeff Beck kind of a thing, right? It's not faintly spiritual. Could be jazz. This is during the Bitches Brew era. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Dave introduced him to Mahavishnu Orchestra, John McLaughlin, who's playing kind of raga music in unbelievably blistering fast lyrics, 75th notes, along with Jean-Luc Ponty and Billy Cobham. If you don't know these names, go ahead and tube them, you'll see. These are a blistering mind. I don't think Eddie made a differentiation or knew the distinction between that and Earth, Wind, and Fire, arguably at one of their peaks. So we get into the 69 Opel Kadett station wagon, the front half of which is sticking out of the wall in my front hall now. It's a very rock star thing to do. That car was so small and I got so many thousands of miles out of it, and the entire club history is written on the accelerator and the mileage odometer right there. Every single mile has a story to go with it and an excuse and a rationale. So I had somebody torch off the very front of the engine lid. In fact, we'll take a picture of it and we'll post it. Boom! There it is. And we Jumped into the 1969 Opel Kadett station wagon. Remember what we looked like. I then had the Tarzan haircut. We had the Tarzan haircut. But, every meal at that point, because we were no longer living at home, started with this. And you look around and you sort of move the change around. And then you look up at the menu and decide what you're going to have for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, depending on what time it was. So it's a lot of hands in the pockets. And we drive into the Forum parking lot, and it becomes clearly evident to Ed that this is not a Deep Purple gig. And as we walk into the Forum, there's 20,000 people. I'll be perfectly direct. There's 20,000 screaming, enthusiastic, lit up, switched on African Americans and 2 white boys. Take your time with which ones you think those might be. Let's navigate these next social waters politically carefully. That's right, it was us. Every time we play the Forum, and I've played the Forum a dozen times since then, I look up to the 50-yard line all the way at the top, from where you stand in the singer's position at the Forum. It's the exact same at Madison Square Garden. You look, and halfway back, I call it the 50-yard line, and then all the way up, where people who do this before dinner, the salute. Okay. I'll have the number 3, but the small fries, please. We would sit up the 50-yard line all the way up there. And that's where Eddie and I sat. And I think he was a little bit frozen. Again, English was not his first language. Moving to the United States at some point in grade school, he was immersed in every kind of orale, black culture. And this was when James Brown had a whole bunch of school kids. It was school kids singing the chorus of, "I'm black and I'm proud." And then there were kids like me singing along with them and not blinking. And there's a lot of people were blinking when they'd see us on television. "I'm black, I'm proud, Tom." You know that, don't you? Let's define the context a little bit. Pasadena High School marching band was very, very white. The John Muir marching band was very, 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 And you'll decide which one you wanted to be part of, because I would go to both football games. I had friends on both sides of the coin, okay? The Pasadena marching band would walk in and the drums would go like this. And everybody, would do the cadet, kind of like West Point traditional, with a strap that goes here and like this. And everybody would march. Very traditional Eisenhower era, 1940s, 1950s, like so. Very familiar. Maybe 80 kids working in this high school band. Very tight, very sharp, very specific, but very clean cut, butch wax, crew cut, like this. You would go to the John Muir pep rally, or your introduction before you became in 10th grade, whatever that is, the newbie, right? And you would be sitting in the John Muir auditorium, and they did this routinely. It was a famous scenario that they would play out, and they would trick you, because the guy up front would get your attention and he'd go, "Ladies and gentlemen," and he'd get a little quieter, "I just would like to introduce you to the John Muir Drum Corps." And from behind you, they would start the most memorable beat you would ever hear. It would go, and that shit would change your fucking haircut and your perspective on everything for the remainder of all, until the last syllable of time, if you had a pair in your pants or a hair on your ass, and we did. And they didn't march like this. You would instantly turn, you would pivot like that, and then here would come the march, and they would be, instead of that scratchy, they're doing that like this shit, and they're spinning. The shit is spinning. Shit is spinning. It's gonna spin out of control. And I'm gonna fucking spin out of control. You decided right there. John Muir, baby. Brilliant team, fucking blue. And they're coming down, they come marching down. Whoa! The only beat that possibly could have even compared to that in my entire musical historic career would be, we all know, okay? I'm so fucking sorry, but I'm not. You can tell it made an impression. And man, that was get before me, man, this means war.